Hello and welcome to the 2023 interview series. I'm Sabrina Schottenhamel, and I want to introduce you to another one of my wonderful friends, Victoria Dorsano. So I would love for Victoria to introduce herself and also tell the audience how we met.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks, Sabrina, for having me on, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I'm Victoria Dorsano, and I help people to feel better in their bodies, to lose weight, have more energy, decrease stress. I do one-on-one health coaching with my clients, and really absolutely love it. Helping them transform their bodies from the inside out, and a lot of that starts with our mindset, how we approach eating and food, nourishing our bodies, and movement, and those sorts of main pillars to wellness, and really addressing those one by one to help just amplify somebody's health, and get them better into a state where they're just feeling better and feeling like back to themselves. And so that's a little of what I do. And I do that all remotely, so I can work with anybody anywhere, which is so wonderful. And and Sabrina, you and I met through our coach, Jennifer. And then we met in person for the first time at one of your speaking engagements, or it was a speaking engagement called Engaging Speakers, I think, right?
Uh-huh.
And you were there checking people in. So I got to meet you in person for the first time there too.
Mm-hmm. And then since then, we've met in person many times
Many times. Got to
because
do
we live like
a
15 minutes away from each other.
Yeah, and I have some of your really cool, you've given me some plant cuttings that have grown into huge, huge plants by now.
That's so cool. And you know what's really funny? I keep my plant right here, one of them, and it's sprouting this little tiny baby from the top. And I'm like, I mean, my plant is literally like looks dead, but it still has life at the bottom. And then
Yeah,
all of a sudden it's just like, I'm gonna sprout from the middle. I'm like, okay.
always finds a way.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll just keep watering you.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. I had one aloe. I didn't know that aloes reproduce like a
Oh
bunch of other
yeah.
aloes. I have this one aloe. I call her Mama Aloe because she's given birth like 35 times to like a bunch of baby aloes. It's insane. I was like, why are they out there sprouting up everywhere? It's
Mhm.
wild. I didn't know
Yeah.
that, but
Oh
they,
yeah. Agaves, they reproduce, they have little babies and they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah.
it's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, that's cool that you keep an aloe alive because when I brought one home from Arizona, I kept it alive for maybe 6 months and then it died. And then Jennifer at one of our what was it, a half day what did she call
Oh,
that? Half day workshop. She gave out little succulents.
yeah.
It lasted like 3 or 4 months and then all of a sudden it got moldy and died.
Oh,
And so I don't want to talk about my third one because it is still alive, but I don't want to jinx it.
okay. You know what? Actually, I don't know if I want to give you this tip because I'm afraid you're going to do it and then it might die too. But I soak banana peels. You can chop up banana peels and then soak them in water and then strain the banana peels out. And that's kind of like a fertilizer for them. And
Right.
that seems to work well for me. So,
I did that once for my plants and then I forgot about it. So yeah, maybe I'll try that again.
yeah,
Yeah.
it works well for some plants. I don't think it's all of them, but quick
Yeah.
Google search maybe.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty good with keeping plants alive, especially my tower garden, which is right next to me. It's flourishing right now.
Oh, awesome. Those are so
Yeah.
beautiful to look at too. It just kind of makes you feel like you're in the summertime.
Yeah. I get
Yeah.
my sunlight here. I get my fresh greens. It's
Yep.
it's so it's totally amazing and it's nourishing for my
Yeah.
body. Yeah. So we got sidetracked, but that's okay. That's how it goes, right?
It
So since we were talking about plants, obviously they're a passion of both of ours, but what are some other passions of yours, Victoria?
One of my newfound ones is like, and my husband laughs at me because he's like, let's see how long this passion sticks around for. Roller skating. I've really gotten into roller skating and the whole culture behind it. It's such a cool, I don't know if I can call it sport. I guess it's a sport, but I've really, really enjoyed it. I got my own pair of roller skates and I've been really like, just, I go to the rink usually twice a week and then we'll skate outside once it gets a little bit warmer. But I really, really love that. It's been a really fun and challenging, like, it's just one of those things where I feel like it's the perfect blend of like fun and challenge. for me to kind of get absorbed into and just learn something new. I think it's such a great thing to learn something new. If it's even with your mind or your body, it's just really reinvigorating and makes me feel like a little kid again. And I love that.
The next thing I want to ask you is, how did you get into your line of business?
Yeah. So for me, it's kind of a rambly story, but I'm going to try to just smush it as close as I can into a short amount of time. But I've always had a passion for health and for feeling good and for, getting the body to perform. I've always kind of grown up as an athlete, and along with that had to learn, how to nourish my body, how not to nourish my body. And unfortunately, I think this happens with a lot of female athletes in different sports, but, definitely had some disordered eating around, just around I should eat or not eat for my sport of volleyball. And we're in tiny little spandex shorts. So I was, very self-conscious at the age of 14. And unfortunately I was in an environment that promoted a lot of those disordered eating patterns. And that stuck with me for a while. And I started to notice how that's not uncommon with not just young female athletes, but also working professionals. And it comes in all kind of forms too. We're too busy sometimes and we don't eat. So we skip a meal because we're so focused on our work. We don't check in to see how our bodies are doing, right? Or we mindlessly eat to numb some of the stress of working, of, entrepreneurship, of owning a business. And, I just kind of nurtured that interest of mine and really started to pursue that seriously and got my certifications and all that jazz. And really just found a passion for helping that demographic of professionals that I can see those same kind of patterns come up in around food and exercise and all those lifestyle habits that just need to be tweaked a little bit, because we're not given a manual of how to do these things right all the time. And I think it's just important to learn what feels good for each of us individually. And that's really kind of where my passion came from and how I kind of grooved into this a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And so, because you don't do any of the fad diets with your clients, you just sort of listen to their needs and tailor something to each of them separately.
Yeah. So I really take a long time in the beginning of working with them to understand where they're at. What are the lifestyle factors? What does their day-to-day look like? What does their home environment look like? Taking a look at sleep, just all the things that factor into how they are feeling, and start to work from, I always say, like, we start at the one thing that's going to make all the other things easier. If somebody's not getting enough sleep, well, that's going to cause them to not make great food choices because their hunger hormones are off kilter because not getting enough sleep. And it's going to make them feel tired. So they're not going to be able to create time to go to the workout or to move. So looking at like what's going to be the thing to start with, and really personalizing that approach for each individual to help them uniquely feel better.
Yeah, that's interesting, because every time I've been opening up YouTube lately, I have some guy telling me, oh, stop doing keto and stop doing cardio if you're a woman over 40 and blah, blah. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So obviously he's trying to sell his program to me, but I'm not interested in his program because I found a pretty good balance of things that I need to do activity wise and self-care wise, and then food wise.
Yeah.
And, so I'm not gonna settle into some guy on YouTube unless it's Victoria, because Victoria, your YouTube channel has exploded over the last year, right?
Yeah, it's been growing.
Want to talk a little bit about that?
I know I don't qualify myself yet as like a YouTuber, but I don't know at what point anybody does. Like at what point I take that title on. But yeah, I mean, and that's been a really fun thing to do too, and to educate individuals on various aspects of health. I talk a lot about, in particular, joint health on my channel, because as we age, again, we're not necessarily taught like how to best take care of our joints until something happens to them, and then by then you're in a reactive stage, you're getting knee surgery or, whatever it might be. But I like to cover a lot of different topics on health and well-being and bust some of the myths and bring some evidence behind like why these things work, why some things don't work, and just kind of clarify that in a really user-friendly, simple approach. So it's not too too sciencey or too, cerebral, and it's just digestible information. And it's been really fun. I really enjoyed, that aspect of things and being on camera and all that. It's just, there's so much that goes into it. It makes me really appreciate people that, put out a good video a day. It's hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and to make it look effortless, to make it look professional,
Yeah.
and all that stuff that goes into video and editing, and yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
1000%. 1000%.
Yeah. So I'm just excited for your YouTube channel and where it's taking you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Me too. It's been a blast. YouTube school stuff. So
It is. Yeah. I've been putting myself out there a little bit more on YouTube, and along with this interview series, each video will be going live each week. So hopefully that will, bring some value to not only my followers, but the people that I'm interviewing too.
yeah, for sure. I think it's, just different business owners, right? Different people's different experiences and all that to share. So absolutely.
Yeah, it's so cool. And the next thing I want to ask you is the first thing that comes to your mind. What are you grateful for right now?
I'm grateful for my roller skates. I'm really grateful for my roller skates. I just feel like it's been such a fun hobby to learn. I know I keep coming back to that. And anybody that knows me well knows that, like, once I find a thing that I really, really love, that's like the thing I'm going to be talking about for some time. So I just feel like it's been a really great way to reconnect to me in a thing that I don't feel like I have to perform for anybody else but myself, which when you're putting yourself on YouTube or, as a business owner and you're in social media, like a lot of times everything feels kind of performative or like you're putting on a front a little bit. Not that it's disingenuous, but it's just, it's just a little bit more effort. So this just feels like a way I can kind of do something for me,
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to find that thing that lights you up, that makes you just want to think about it and do it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That goes along with our passions and, just what we're grateful for, that our bodies are able to get up and do things every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So since we talked about YouTube, obviously that's a good way for people to find you, but is there another really good way for people to connect with you?
Yeah. I love connecting with people over on Instagram. If that's, if anybody has like an Instagram profile or doesn't, I think you do need to create an Instagram profile to be on Instagram, but you don't necessarily have to post there. But it's at Victoria_Dorsano is my username on Instagram. And I like to post a lot of content, connect with people on there. And that's pretty much my more active profile to be on. If you really want to get a hoot of some random stuff, I do have my TikTok, but that one isn't really, that's more of like random Victoria life things. So, and weird voices, weird things going on that one. So
yeah, that is a talent of yours. You have really cute voices, and
some are not so cute, but some are cute. Some are definitely cute.
I'll have to check out your page on TikTok, because one of my friends, he's always like, I send you things on TikTok, but you never respond. And I'm like, well, I don't really go on TikTok because I don't want to get lost in it.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, okay, fine. Why don't you text me and tell me you shared something with me, or send it to my email or text, because I'll see it much more quickly. But yeah, I want to see some of your TikToks.
Yeah, some of them are funny. They're funny. But yeah, I'd say
Awesome.
Instagram's the main spot.
Instagram. So yeah, I'll definitely put that in the description with the video. And when this video goes live, we'll share it on all of our platforms so we can cross promote and, get our names out there.
That sounds great. Well, thank you again for having me on, Sabrina. This has been
a Thank you so much, Victoria. All right. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.